Hey, it's Jason Creel and you're watching Lawn Care Life. Today, let's talk about what is the right size zero-turn mower for you. And maybe it's a combination of zero-turn mowers, but I want to give you some perspective based on my experience and what I see other people do on what size zero-turn mower you should get. Stay tuned. One of the things I've noticed is that some of the big successful companies in my area, you know, those companies that got plenty of money can go buy whatever mower they want, whatever setup they're looking for. Sometimes I'll see them and it'll be one or two people in a Zuzu cab over type vehicle, no trailer. You know, it's got either a box truck or an open trailer on the, open bed on the truck with the ramp on it so I can pull the mower in the back. And they'll have literally one walk behind mower on that truck, and that's it. That's their setup. I mean, of course they got string trimmer and blower and that sort of thing, but that's the only mower they have. And that's got me thinking, maybe there's a lot of different ways to approach this, but let me share with you some insight. Maybe you're starting out in the lawn business or a homeowner. We'll try to touch on that. But if I was starting out in the lawn business and I needed to go buy one mower, and I tell people all the time, it depends on how much money you got. I mean, obviously, if you got a $12,000 budget, we can get you a really nice one. If you got a $2,000 budget, then obviously we're going to have to look a little bit different on what we're approaching. But for me personally, if I was, let's just throw a number out there, if I was looking to spend somewhere between like $4,000 to $6,000 range, for that price range, what you can get, if you're starting out and you want one mower, you can get, what I would tell people to do is get a 48 inch to 54 inch, somewhere in that range. I used to say 48 to 52, but now a lot of them are making 54 inch mowers. But I feel like that's a versatile size. And then you definitely don't want, if you're going to be mowing for a living, that low-end residential model. It's too slow, they're not powerful enough, so at least get the high-end residential. And for $4,000 to $6,000, you can probably go buy one of those brand new. But me personally, I would rather get the next step up from that, a low-end commercial if you can afford it, or at least, maybe the standard commercial. When I say standard commercial, I'm thinking of like an X-Mark Laser Z, or kind of the main line that brand sells, and just about all the manufacturers have one. And then you might have a step above that that's like the one that's got all the bells and whistles. So anyway, one of those standard commercial grade mowers is going to cost you, $8,000 to $10,000 brand new. Well, what I'm saying is, if you've got $4,000 to $6,000 to spend, instead of buying a brand new high-end residential model or low-end commercial model, which would be fine, and I'm thinking of like a Gravely ZT HD or a Skag Freedom Z or an X-Mark Radius. I'm not sure if they might have changed the name. I believe it's the Radius. And they're good mowers. They're fine mowers. They'll last a while. Personally, I would rather get the next step up and get one that's slightly used if I had to, if that was my budget. Like I said, if you got $8,000 to $10,000, then you just get one brand new and don't worry about it. But if for $5,000, I'm looking for a good deal on a full-fledged commercial mower that has less than 200 hours. That's just me. And I'm open to several brands. I like Gravely, Skag, X-Mark, Hustler. There's other good brands. Those are just ones that I've had experience with and I like. Now, again, I'm saying, these big successful companies got one truck and, with a big trailer they could fit 4 mowers on, and they've got one walk-behind mower out there, probably a 48 inch or something like that, maybe 42 inch. And that's fine. So obviously you can do that if there's something they figured out in that, and probably just cutting down on the overhead, less employees, just that one mower that's very versatile, and just knocking out the residential properties with that mower. Me, starting off by yourself, you can just get by with one mower, and you might have a push mower to do backyards, and then as you grow, you got to think, what kind of combination of mowers am I looking to get? At that point, you could stick with, let's say, a 48 to 54 inch zero-turn mower, and you might get what I used to do. I'd get like a 42 inch Walker bagging mower. That way, if I needed to bag, I could bag. It was also 42 inches, so I could get it in a lot of backyards. It was versatile. I could use it for leaf cleanup in the fall. I mean, there was a lot of things I could do having that Walker mower. What I would say don't do is you know, just you've got 3 customers that want it bagged, so I'm going to go buy a $12,000 Walker mower. You know, that doesn't make sense. If you can't get a lot of use out of a piece of equipment, don't go buy just a piece of equipment. It doesn't make sense. You know, I would rather turn down those 3 customers and try to pick up more that I can use with that primary mower. Okay, so you got to think about that. Am I going to use this piece of equipment? Or you could go, if you don't bag at all, you could still keep your primary mower, whether that be 48, 52, 54 inch mower, and then you could get a 36 inch walk behind that would allow you to do some of the backyards, or maybe a 42 inch, you know, that we could get through most gates. And you could either turn down ones that had a really small gate or use a push mower on that. That's a combination that would work. Some people I've seen be successful, and they'll have a 60 inch mower as their primary mower, and you know, and then they have a 36 inch or 42 inch walk behind that they could use, or like you say, you could go with that 42 inch Walker mower that I use to bag with. There's a lot of combinations you can use. I don't think it's a bad idea personally to get a, you know, that like those big companies do, and just get that one walk behind mower, especially if you're on hills. So let's talk about that for a second. Should you get a riding mower, standing mower, walk behind mower? You know, to me, I usually use the riding mowers. They hold pretty well on hills, but if you're in a place that has, sure enough, a lot of hills, you're probably going to want to go with a walk behind mower. The walk behinds are going to perform much better on hills than a stand-on mower. To me, the main advantage of the standers is just that tight, compact frame, you know, as far as fitting in on your trailer. I mean, y'all help me in the comments if there's more advantages to the standards than that. But when I've been on those type machines, they did not perform as well on a hill as even a ride-on mower. So, you know, I go rider if I need hills, or you're doing a lot of little islands like shopping centers, and they have, or neighborhoods, and they've got little islands and things where you need to use that walk behind mower, and you can pop up on that island and knock it out real quick. That'd be a lot easier with a walk behind mower as well. I'll tell you, one of the things that I'm kind of understanding with my own business and how I'm trying to multiply myself, I like the idea, and I've hinted at this already, of having very efficient equipment. Okay, like I was saying, don't spend $10,000 or $12,000 on a walker to barely use it. I like that strategy those big companies use, and having that one mower that I'm going to use all the time, and then I've got this other one that's a backup or whatever I can use in tight spaces. It's kind of like for me doing weed control and fertilization. I have one tank, you know, I have this tank with a small Honda engine, and that little Honda engine with that tank makes a lot of money. And basically what I'm saying is, sometimes I think people end up with too much equipment. At the end of the day, I would rather have 2 trucks that had 1 mower each and 2 people going in it than 1 truck with 4 people and I've got 6 mowers. Now, to me, where that comes in handy is if you're doing like apartment complexes, you know, really big property. So some of this has to do with the type properties you're going after. If you're going to focus on, you know, regular size, small to medium size, whatever, residential properties, to me, you go with the strategy I'm talking about, 48 to 54 inch zero turn mower, and something to maneuver the backyards, whether that be a push mower if you have to, or a small walk behind mower. If you know you're going after big properties, then I'd say go ahead and get the 60 inch or possibly even a 72 inch mower, and then you have to come up with a solution for the smaller properties again. But personally speaking, I don't want to have, you know, 3 zero turn mowers on a trailer unless I've got serious manpower and doing huge properties. I would rather be able to multiply myself and have 2 trucks, you know, and be able to continue to build efficient, profitable routes without a lot of equipment sitting on the trailer needing upkeep that's not making you money. You know what I'm saying? I want less equipment that I'm really using a lot. And if there's a piece of equipment that I need to buy that's going to make me a lot of money, let's say I'm going to do hedge trimming, and I'm going to go buy a $600 pair of long-handled hedge trimmers. Well, that's fine if I'm doing a lot of hedge trimming. I don't want to go buy a $600 pair of hedge trimmers to do 2 hedge jobs a year. And you might say, well, those 2 hedge jobs a year are going to pay for it. You know, well, I'm not trying to just pay for it. I'm trying to make money. You know what I'm saying? So I want, I would rather not trim hedges than buy hedge trimmers and use them occasionally. Same thing with a mower. I'd rather not have a bagging mower as opposed to just bag occasionally. I want equipment that is making me a lot of money, getting used a lot, and the right combination that's the most efficient for the type properties that I'm focused on. Let me hear from you. you guys have experience too. What mowers or mower combination do you keep on your trailer? You know, do you have one mower, multiple mowers? If you have multiple mowers, you know, how do you work it out? You got one that bags, one that mulches, you got one big one, one small one. Do you have a big one and a push mower? Do you have a rider and a stander, a rider and a walk behind, two walk behinds, different size? There's a lot of combinations here. So let me hear from you. What kind of setup do you have? Why do you have that? And what would you give advice to people who are starting out? Thanks a lot. If you hadn't done so, subscribe to the channel, click the bell beside the subscribe button. I'll talk to you later.